Hi there, this is Eshu. I'm the abbot here at Zenwest Buddhist Society. This Living Zen-podcast is just one of the many resources we've created at Zenwest to make Zen practice and training more available and accessible to people all over the world. Instructional videos, printable resources, and much, much more are also available on our website at www.zenwest.ca. If you're a regular listener, I'd love to hear from you. So please drop me an email at office@zenwest.ca and let me know who you are, how you got started, and what brought you to Zen. Everything we make available in person and online at Zenwest is only possible because of the support of our members and associates, people like you. If the efforts of our community are making a difference in your life, I'd like to invite you to show your support and take part in making it happen by becoming an associate or member of the Zenwest Sangha. You can do this by clicking the Join Us tab on our website at www.zenwest.ca. Thank you for your support, and thanks for listening.
There's been a lot of discussion in the public sphere recently, in the last months and year or so, concerning privacy and the spying on our personal messages, phone calls, emails by various government agencies, the amassing of great amounts of this personal data that most of us were hitherto unaware of. It strikes me that there's some interesting parallels to practice that have come out of this public discussion. Initially, we seemed to be concerned about the contents of our communications. Maybe someone is listening in on our personal phone calls or reading our emails, and this was a very visceral sort of concern. What could be more intrusive? As the discussion continued, we learned that, at least from the point of view of some of the agencies collecting this information, that the contents of these messages, while valuable and even juicy in some cases, was perhaps not as powerful as the so-called metadata that they were able to generate from this information, and the bigger picture that they were able to paint based on this metadata. This is, of course, data about data. So when I'm calling so-and-so and to whom I'm calling, with whom I'm having an email correspondence, what time of day am I doing it, where am I doing it, and so on. This is very powerful information from which groups with sophisticated data reduction techniques can deduce a lot of very powerful information about who I am and what my proclivities are, and so on. It seemed to me that it's not unlike the step backwards we take in practice. Certainly, in my practice, I found it very useful to approach practice starting with where I am, by which I mean starting with what is in the foreground of my experience. What is front and center? What is right in front of me? When I started, there were a lot of things that would, at various times, assume preeminence in my experience, including physical pain, knees and back, physical pain, discomfort, sometimes a busy mind, a mind that just jumps all over here, there, wherever. Sometimes an anxiety, just can't sit still on the cushion, just so urgently have to get up and do those things that are so much more important at the moment than sitting there. All sorts of things might be foreground for me when I sit down. What I found works for me is to develop a relationship with whatever is right in front of me, which could perhaps be characterized as a direct, loving, accepting, embracing sort of connection with whatever is there. One of clarity, to get some clarity on what's going on without messing around with it too much. And with this overview, perhaps, that developed over time, which points to the value of stepping back and seeing the larger picture, allowing whatever is, whatever creates the foundation for what the experience is, whatever is underneath or behind or prior to the experience, to allow that to emerge, not to get stuck on the contents, but to allow a bigger picture of what's going on, particularly when repeated experiences, repeated thought patterns, memories, or so on arrive. Often I found there's a real value in looking, I don't want to say looking so much as allowing the foundation to show itself. And then often what was foreground, right in front of me, sort of demanding my attention, fades away. And maybe there's something else. Maybe there's some realization, some insight, something underneath it about what was holding it up, what was giving it the power that it had. And then to repeat that, embracing whatever is underneath, allowing it to clarify, to have its own time, and to see what happens to it as well. Often I'm in a hurry. I want to get results. I have some idea of what ought to happen, and it's not happening, thank you very much. And I want to make it happen. And so in one way or another, I resist what's happening. I get involved in trying to steer. One thing that I think is, for me anyway, is worthy of a prominent place on my refrigerator is a little note that says, "What I resist persists." I found this very useful, and I notice as I resist what's going on, I give it energy and life. And when I notice that, I can let go a bit. This is an example of a bigger picture sort of thing that I see based on my habits. I can fall into the same hole over and over again, but until I step back and see, oh, I'm falling into this hole repeatedly. It's that stepping back that gives me the power to be aware of it, and perhaps sometime to elect not to fall into the hole. So wherever we are in our practice, whether we're just starting or we've been at it for a long time, I think there's a lot to be said for starting where we are in a very straightforward manner, observing what's going on, allowing it to complete, and allowing in the settling action, allowing ourselves to just to appreciate what lies underneath.
Thanks for listening to the Living Zen-podcast. If you follow Living Zen through iTunes, I would very much appreciate it if you would take a moment to let me know what you think about it by rating or reviewing the podcast, so that new listeners can also hear what you have to say. Thank you for your time and for your support.